suspended orb self-sustaining plant. It sounds like something from a Harry Potter movie, but really it could be a decoration in your very own room. Hi, my name is Laura Vetch, and I'm going to be telling you about terrariums, how to build them yourself, and how to keep them alive. First of all, the majority of you guys, from what I've gathered, are living on your own but haven't quite found a permanent living space. From this, it's pretty hard to garden and build your own, or grow your own plants. And I have a perfect solution. Terrariums are the perfect way to liven up a small living space and sustain plants' lives in an artistic way. First of all, I'm going to tell you what terrariums are. Merriam-Webster defines terrariums as a usually transparent enclosure for keeping and raising plants indoors. Some of the things you're going to need to gather before you make your terrariums are a glass container, which this can be a fishbowl or a large mason jar, or sometimes you can go and find a specific container for terrariums. You're also going to need a plant. According to gardeners.com, when choosing plants, select varieties that will thrive where you plan to display your terrarium. Since in the Northwest we have minimal light in the winter and there's not much humidity, succulents are the best option for terrariums. You're also going to need soil, rocks, moss, and charcoal. Next, I'm going to talk about making your terrarium. First of all, you're going to put in about 1 inch of rocks on the bottom of your container. This helps with the drainage of water if you accidentally pour too much water into your plant. On top of that, you're going to add another 1 inch of activated charcoal. HomeGuides.com says charcoal isn't required but helps in removing odors and toxins that plants naturally carry and can be bothersome in the home. So basically, if you don't have activated charcoal, because it's kind of hard to find in stores sometimes, your plant is still going to be able to grow, but it is going to help in creating a better environment for your plant. On top of this layer, you're going to have a layer of moss, and then on top of that, you're going to put a thin layer of soil. Now it's the fun part. You're going to go to the store, and any home improvement store like Lowe's or Home Depot or even Fred Meyer's has plants, and you're going to pick out which ones you want. Aloe is my favorite, which are these types, because they're the most durable and they're the ones I've had the best luck with. But I've also had luck with these ones. And apparentaspare.com says, for many species, full midday sun can actually burn your plant. So what's really important when you're looking at your plant is trying to look at these labels, because they have requirements on them of saying what each plant needs. And that is a cactus species, so it has to have certain sun requirements, so that would be fine in the sun. But succulents don't do so well in the sun, so they need indirect sun. So when you're looking for your plants, it's just important to see which requirements are for each plant. Now you can arrange your different plants in your container as you like, and surround them with soil, and pack it down as you wish. And on top of this, you can add different layers of moss on top or little rocks. Sometimes people even put statues on top of their terrarium. Just a little bit of character. Finally, I will continue to keeping your terrarium alive and healthy. Like I said earlier, terrariums don't need much sunlight. Okay. Succulents don't need much sunlight to live, and they can actually burn, so it's really important just to make sure that the certain plants that you put together in each terrarium they work together. You don't want to put a succulent that doesn't go good in the sun with one that, like a cactus, that requires a lot of sunlight, because one's going to be thriving and one's going to be dead, and that's not very visually appealing. Nobody likes dead plants in their house. They don't smell good or look good. So like I said, just read the labels and make sure that you're smart about where you place them. The nice thing about succulents is that they retain their water really well, and so the biggest threat for them is actually overwatering them, because they'll drown. So the trick that I've found for this is that every 1 or 2 weeks you can just drop a ice cube in the plant or in the container, and it'll melt eventually and disperse throughout the soil. And this is nice because then there's no water on the leaves of the plant, because sometimes that can be bothersome because they don't naturally, especially like in Arizona, you don't think about rain and it can bother the leaves. So they like to have water on their stems or on their roots, which is nice with the ice cube melting into the soil. And it's really easy. You don't have to sit there and make sure that watch it melt or anything. You can just leave it. Warmth is the third key element for succulents and terrariums in general. When a lot of people in the north have exotic plants in their house, they think of the sun being the biggest part of keeping it alive, but really it's the warmth. And the biggest thing you don't want to do is just put it right next to the window and let it soak up the sun, because especially in the winter, when it's next to the window, it can actually freeze the plant, and this will kill it, obviously. And I've had this happen to me. It's sad, and nobody likes killing plants. It just makes you feel bad. Overall, for anyone short of space or living in colder weather and needing to liven up their living quarters, terrariums are the perfect answer for this common problem. If you ever feel the desire to start a new hobby and add some life to your home, terrariums are for you. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Can they be in any
container?
Yeah, any size pot, like even like a baby jar? Would that be too small?
Yeah, so you can actually cut them. So what's cool about terrariums is, I wonder if I have, this thing clicks slowly. Okay, so with these ones, okay, this one too. You can cut these off and you can plant them, and they'll actually start growing themselves. So if you were to plant that in a baby jar, it would just start growing.
Oh.
And eventually you might need to move it somewhere else. But if you were to start it in a baby jar, yeah, these things are pretty small. Like I hang them from in my window.
Yeah, little Christmas ornaments or something.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That'd be awesome.
I think they're fun. They're just like. But any other questions?